Now we will divide the Rasa Sutra into three parts: Vibhavas, Anubhavas and Vebhijari Bhavas. Now let us look at Vibhavas. Vibhava actually means the cause. The cause. What causes this transformation? What is the thing that which makes a person have the initial trigger for this Sthayi Bhava to change into Rasa? That is called Vibhavas. Now Vibhavas are divided into two. They are Alambana Vibhava and the second one is Uddhibana Bhavas. One Alambana Bhava and Uddhibana Bhavas. Now imagine that you are going to watch a movie. Imagine it's a love story. That love story is your Vibhava. You are going to watch it because you know that you are going to spend a few hours in a fantastical world, in a literary world, in an imaginative world. You are going to just forget your worries. You are in a movie theater, or you are in a theater watching a play. Now what is the story, or what is the reason why you are there? What is the reason that is going to cause excitement in you? The excitant is Vibhava, and that is why it is divided into two. Let us look at the first one, Alambana Bhava. Now when you are going to watch a play like Romeo and Juliet, Romeo and Juliet is the Alambana Bhava for your Sthayi Bhava called Rati to change into Sringara. They are the cause. They are the reason. For example, I told you that all of us are born with the feeling of Rati, but only when the time comes it changes. Now in real life also this happens. Imagine there is a boy and the boy is just walking along, and suddenly he see a girl. This boy has been seeing girls right from his maybe childhood. He has been seeing a number of girls. He is interacting with a number of girls. But suddenly one fine morning, when he was actually going from one place to another, he meets a girl and something transforms him. Some change happens to him. Those of you who have fallen in love will understand that this is a very natural emotion. There is something that tells this boy that this girl is made for you. Now it's a very dangerous kind of concept also, because if the boy has a tendency to fall in love very often, that becomes a problem. I am talking about a boy who is falling in love for the first time with a girl. For him, what happened was that the Sthayi Bhava called Rati that was dormant in him, that was lying as a latent factor in him, transforms to Rasa, that is Sringara, when he meets this girl. So just remember this example for convenience sake, because this can be applied to anything that you see around, whether it can be a dance performance, whether it is a movie, whether it is a novel that you are reading. What happens is your latent content transforms to the manifest form, that is Rasa. Now that girl is the Alambana Bhava for this boy. In other words, ആരിലാണോ നമ്മൾ അവലംബിക്കുന്നത്? See, characters are Alambana Bhavas. For example, you are watching this movie called Bahubali. You have Utsaha in you, which is transformed to Veeram when you are watching Bahubali, kill Palwal Deva. What happens to you is there is a transformative power, and there Bahubali becomes your Alambana Bhava. The characters in that play, the characters in that movie, the characters in the novel, the artist who is performing. For example, when Shobana is dancing as Rukmini, or Shobana is dancing as Yashoda, and she summons Lord Krishna to come beside her, Shobana becomes the Alambana Bhava. You understood? So that is for us, she is the one who is representing Yashoda and Krishna, because the artist plays both roles. So there നമ്മുടെ ഇമോഷൻസ് ആരിലാണോ അവലംബിക്കപ്പെടുന്നത് അതിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ആലംബന വിഭാവം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So the person, the human being, the artist, that is Alambana Bhava. Now let us see what is a Uddhibana Bhava. Now we will go back to our example of the boy meeting girl. You remember the boy who meets the girl for the first time and how his Sthayi Bhava Rati was transformed to Sringara. And imagine that the same boy is meeting the same girl in another situation. Imagine that her brothers are with her. Six pack ഒക്കെ ഉള്ള ബ്രദർ കൂടെയാണ് ഈ ഗേൾ വരുന്നത്. Maybe his Sthai Bhava called Rati will not actually transform to Sringara. Or imagine that the boy is meeting the same girl during tsunami or during a sandstorm or during floods. Maybe the Sthai Bhava will not become Rati. So the condition also has to be right. Now let us take the very famous example of Shakuntala meeting Dushyanta for the first time, or rather Dushyanta meeting Shakuntala for the first time. So what is the situation? Dushyanta is the king and he goes to the forest and he meets Shakuntala accidentally. And what is the situation of Shakuntala? She is alone with her two beautiful തോഴിമാർ അല്ലേ, ഫ്രണ്ട്സിനുമായിട്ട് കൂടെ നിൽക്കുകയാണ്. Her father is not there. Not the point. Her father is not there. Nobody is there in the house. And that was the ideal situation for Dushyanta to fall in love with Shakuntala. Imagine if her father was there. Kanwa would have actually feel very honored. He would have invited him to the ashrama. He would have paid his respect to him and so on. The situation would have changed. Maybe Dushyanta may not have fallen in love with Shakuntala. So that's a different situation altogether. So why did Dushyanta fall for Shakuntala? There is another reason also. That is because the environment was conducive for their romance. You call it as the Uddhibana Bhava. ഉദ്ദീപിക്കുക എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എൻഹാൻസ് ചെയ്യുക, അതിനെ കൂട്ടുക. ഇപ്പോൾ പ്രണയകാവ്യങ്ങളിലൊക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെ റൊമാൻസ് കൂട്ടുന്ന ട്രഡീഷണൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ചില കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. മന്ദമാരുതൻ, പൂനിലാവ്, ചെറിയ ചാറ്റൽ മഴ, വലിയ മഴയാണെങ്കിൽ പറ്റില്ല, ചെറിയ ചാറ്റൽ മഴ, ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ളതെല്ലാം പ്രേമത്തിന് അനുകൂലമായിട്ടുള്ള സാഹചര്യങ്ങളായിട്ടാണ് പൊതുവിൽ കരുതപ്പെട്ടു വരുന്നത്. So that is it. So loneliness, the solitary status of the lovers, the solitude, and a lot of other things matters. Now this environment is called Uddhibana Bhava. So that is why you find when in movies, when the boy proposes to the girl, immediately the scene transforms and takes you to exotic locales in New Zealand and Switzerland and so on. Why is it happening? Because the environment has to be conducive for their romance. So that is why. So it is called Uddhibana Bhavas. It is called Uddhibana Bhavas. They are excitants. It actually excites your feelings. It heightens your emotions. So what are Vibhavas are the causes, and there are two Vibhavas. One is Alambanavi Bhava, on whom our emotions are being established. This is the reason. So that is Alambanavi Bhava. And you have Uddhibana Bhava, that which excites you, or that is the right environment for the emotion to work it out. You can actually, this is not just restrictive to Rati or Sringara alone. You can work it out with any emotion taken from this 8 Sthai Bhavas and their corresponding rasas. So that was Vibhavas. And now we move to the second part of our Rasa Sutra. Don't forget our Rasa Sutra, Vibhava, Anubhava, Vebhijari, Samyogat, Rasa Nishpati. Adile ആദ്യത്തെ Vibhavas ആണ് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തത്. Now we move to Anubhava. അനു എന്നുള്ള വേർഡിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം എന്താണ്? ഒന്നിനെ അനുഗമിക്കുന്നത് അല്ലേ, അതിൻ്റെ പുറകെ വരുന്നത് എന്നൊക്കെയാണ്. So Anubhava is the resulting action. Now you must have seen in old Malayalam movies and so on, when songs are being played, when the song is happening, you find the heroine doing certain actions which in our ordinary life sounds or looks very strange. For example, when the hero approaches her, she'll flutter her eyelids in such a manner that it looks comic for the new generation of kids, because they find the whole thing very inappropriate. But this is an example of an Anubhava, which means it's a very artificial kind of a thing that you actually show to the person involved to tell that person that I am in love with you. There are so many manifestations. See, they say that ഇപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ശരിക്കും മനിതർക്ക് മൊഴിയേ തേവയില്ല എന്നൊരു പാട്ടിൽ പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. സംസാരത്തിൻ്റെ ആവശ്യമില്ല, നമുക്ക് ജസ്റ്റേഴ്സിൽ കൂടെ മാത്രം കാര്യങ്ങൾ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടല്ല ഭാഷയെന്നും ഇഫക്റ്റീവായിട്ട് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് ഭാഷ എന്നുള്ള ഒരു തിയറി ഉണ്ട്. ആ തിയറി അല്ല, അതാണ് സത്യവും. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ എന്തിനാണ് ഭാഷ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്? കുറച്ചുകൂടി ഇഫക്റ്റീവായിട്ട് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാനാണ്. അതല്ലാതെ നമുക്ക് സാധാരണ രീതിയിൽ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാനാണെങ്കിൽ ശരിക്കും ഭാഷയുടെ ആവശ്യമില്ല. അത് നമുക്ക് തന്നെ അറിയാം. നമ്മൾ ഒരുപാട് ജസ്റ്റേഴ്സിൽ കൂടെയും ഒരുപാട് നോൺ വെർബൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ക്യൂസിൽ കൂടെയും ഒക്കെയാണ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ദീസ് നോൺ വെർബൽ ക്യൂസ് ദാറ്റ് യു ആക്ച്വലി ഷോ during a performance are anubhavas. There are a number of them. Fluttering of eyelids is one of them. Then showing deliberate manifestations of, telling the other person that I am interested in you. There are so many ways in which you can express. So this is artificial. This is not natural, because you want to purposefully communicate these things to others. So imagine if it is a scene which involves valor. It is a scene that includes Veera in the performance. There are so many manifestations that the character shows to tell you that he is full of Veera, or he is ready for the battle. He is ready to kill his enemy. He is going to face the opponent. So that are those actions. I need not tell you what they are. There are so many manifestations that you can show. In Shoka you can show that crying is one of them. Deliberately crying is one of them. In romance you show all kinds of actions. പണ്ട് കാൽനകം കൊണ്ട് കളം വരയ്ക്കുന്നതൊക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെ സിനിമയിൽ കാണിക്കും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പ്ലേയിൽ കാണിക്കും. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് ആക്ച്വലി an anubhava. So you are deliberately trying to communicate that I am interested in you, I have fallen for you, I am smitten by you. So that is anubhava. Anubhavas are the physical manifestations that you actually show on the stage. So vibhavas are the cause and anubhavas are the effect. So vibhava cause and anubhavas as the effect. So the first part, or the first two parts of our Rasa Sutra is over, and there is something which goes along with it, which is not actually part of the Rasa Sutra. This is called the Satwik Bhavas. The Satwik Bhavas. See, when an artist is performing on the stage, they say that an artist conveys his ideas to the Sahridaya through Angika Abhinaya. Vajika, Angika is gestures, Vajika is verbal, then Aharya through the costumes. That is why കഥകളിയിലൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് ചില വേഷങ്ങൾ കാണുമ്പോൾ പച്ച കാണുമ്പോൾ നമുക്കറിയാം നല്ലവൻ, കത്തി കാണുമ്പോൾ അറിയാം പ്രശ്നക്കാരനാണെന്ന്. So that is the Aharya. And you also have Satwik Bhavas, which are temperamental qualities, the feelings that you display. Now Satwik Bhavas they are involuntary. Remember, anubhavas are voluntary. നമുക്ക് തന്നെ അറിയാം, നമ്മൾ അറിഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ അനുഭാവാസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. But what about Satwik Bhavas? They are emotions upon which you don't have a control over. I'll just read some of them. Imagine the boy is going to propose. Don't forget our boy, okay, our example. So the boy is about to propose to the girl whom he actually met and fallen in love with, and his Sthai Bhava called Sringara was transformed to Rati. Imagine he is going to propose to this girl. You know that those of you who have proposed to girls will know that it's a very difficult task altogether. It needs a lot of courage, and here we have the boy going to propose to the girl, and he thinks it is an easy task. He will just go there and tell and come back. No, he goes through a set of emotions upon which he don't have a control. ആ ഇമോഷൻസിൽ നമ്മുടെ കൺട്രോൾ ഇല്ല. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ചില ഇമോഷൻസിനെ കൂടെ നമുക്ക് ആക്ടേഴ്സിന് അഭിനയിപ്പിച്ച് കാണിക്കാൻ പറ്റണം എന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. ഇറ്റ്സ് വെരി ഡിഫിക്കൾട്ട്. നൗ ഐ വിൽ ടെൽ യു വൈ ഇസ് ഇറ്റ് ഡിഫിക്കൾട്ട്. വൺ ഇസ് സ്തംഭ. Stamba is paralysis. Paralysis does not mean that you fall down and collapse and all. It's a momentary or a temporary paralysis. So the boy is about to propose, but he is paralyzed. That is a Satwik Bhava. Sweda is sweating. See, you can't actually pretend to sweat. Sweating is very natural. Your body it's a defense mechanism of your body, and when you are acting, if you are a great actor, you can actually sweat. You have examples of great actors, they say that when you are acting, that sweat comes naturally to you because you are so involved in that character. Otherwise that sweat will not come. So this is Satwik Bhava is something which is involuntary, something on which you don't have a control over. So Sweda is sweat. Romanja, horripilation. You can't pretend Romanja. Romanja is something that happens to you. goosebumps, something happens to you when you read something really exciting and your whole body responds in that way. Horripilation or Romanja. Then Swara Sada, which means the feebleness in the voice trembles, it's not a very easy task to go and propose. Then Vebhijari is trembling. Then Vaivarnya means the change of color, your blood just oozes out and you become pale in color, that is change of color. Then shedding of tears, Ashru. You have very artificial methods of crying, but there are people who can cry at the whim of the movement. You just tell them to cry and they will cry. They are great actors, they say that. So again it is a Satwik Bhava, crying. And Pralaya, that is loss of sense. Loss of sense means you have absolutely no idea where you are and who you are standing with. Now, Tattathin Marayathil parayunnale, ente sare enikku kaanan pattunnilla, enikku chuttullonnum kaanan pattunnilla ennu parayunna avastha. That is Pralaya, that loss of sense. I'll just read the Satwik Bhavas once again. They are Stamba, Sweda, Romanja, Swarasada, Vebhijari, Vaivarnya, Asru and Pralaya. This is again accompanying a performance. This is also part of the Rasa Sutra, though it is not mentioned in the directly in the Rasa Sutra formulated by Bharata. So Vibhavas are over. Vibhavas are divided into two, Alambanavi Bhava and Uddhibana Bhava. We discussed what are Anubhavas. Anubhavas means what happens after this. Anugamikinnathu. The bodily emotions that are expressed voluntarily. We also see the 8 Satwik Bhavas which are involuntary, and next we move on to the third part of our Rasa Sutra, that is Vebhijari Bhavas. Vebhijari Bhavas are also known as Sanjari Bhavas. Now, as we know that Vebhijari is actually a word which has got very negative connotations in our culture, because we normally associate it with women who are not conforming to the laws of the society. There are so many other terms also with which they are referred to. Now, Vebhijari only means somebody who is not walking in the straight path, somebody who takes another route. In the same way, they are called Sanjari Bhavas, they are wandering emotions. Now, just imagine that our boy and girl, the boy proposed. After going through all kinds of emotions, he actually successfully proposed the girl, and the girl also reciprocated his love, and now they are a couple, they are in love. And imagine our girl is waiting for the boy in a bus stop. Imagine it's a time before predates WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram and so on. Now the girl is waiting for the boy to come, and he is not coming in the time in which he promised to come. The girl goes through a series of emotions during his absence. She goes through, she starts thinking about the good times they had together. Suddenly she feels, why is he taking so much of time? Is he in love with somebody else? She feels jealousy. She feels maybe something must have happened to him. She's anxious. Maybe he thinks that she doesn't love me anymore, so she's angry. So she goes through a set of emotions, and suddenly she finds him coming, running and telling her that I'm sorry, I got late because of rain, I got late because of the vehicle was broke down or something like that, and suddenly all these emotions just vanish. So the emotions through which the girl has gone through just moves away, and that is why it is called Sanjari Bhavas or Vebhijari Bhavas. They are transient emotions, they are temporary emotions. Temporary because they come and they go, it don't stay with that person forever. So they are 33 in number. Here we have a slide where I have numbered all the 33 ones. So they are emotions through which the person goes through and immediately comes back after the situation is over. You can again apply it to any Sthayi Bhava that you are familiar with. You need not actually work it out with just Sringara alone. You can just imagine any other emotions, even Shoka, Karuna and all. We go through a myriad of emotions and we come back. They are 33 in number. They are listed it out there for you to see. Now I believe that the Rasa Sutra is clear to you. We have discussed what is Vibhavas, what are Anubhavas and what are Vebhijari Bhavas, and a proper blending of these three will result in, and also remember that we have 8 Satwika Bhavas also. So, a proper blending of all these will result in what is called as Rasa. That is why Vibhava, Anubhava, Vebhijari, Samyogat. The Samyogat here stands for conjunction. It's actually a conjunction, which actually means it's a proper blending. And what is the resulting product? What is the end result? The end result is Rasa. Rasa Nishpati. Rasa undakkapadunnu. Rasam undagunnu. ഇതെല്ലാം ഒരുപോലെ ബ്ലെൻഡായി വരുമ്പോൾ, ഇതെല്ലാം ഒന്നിച്ച് യോജിക്കുമ്പോൾ, സംയോജിച്ച് വരുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് എന്ത് കിട്ടുന്നു? രസ നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്നു അല്ലേ? സോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ രസസൂത്ര. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ എക്സ്പ്ലനേഷൻ ഓഫ് ദിസ് aphorism. Now, this Nishpati is one word that has been interpreted by different theoreticians in different ways, and different schools of thought have actually started from, or it has actually started from the springboard of this word called Nishpati. So, it's actually entirely a large topic altogether. So, we can't discuss all that in a very short video spanning say 20 minutes. So, that is it. So, Vibhava, Anubhava, Vebhijari, Samyogat, Rasa Nishpatihi. So, here people say that the resulting emotion, when all this is blended together, the resulting emotion is actually like it's actually a magical feeling. It's actually a magical feeling. That is why when you go to watch a tragic play like Hamlet, and you find the dilemma of Hamlet when he tells to be or not to be, you actually can internalize all the emotions that Hamlet goes through. That's basically because your Sthayi Bhava has completely changed to Rasa. Whatever Rasa is intended by the writer is clearly brought out in you. That is why you like certain movies where your Rasa was actually able to bloom like a magic flower. ഇത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ഇമോഷനെ അദ്ഭുത പുഷ്പ എന്നാണ്, ഇങ്ങനെ ഇമോഷൻസ് ഇങ്ങനെ വിരിഞ്ഞു വരുന്നതിനെ അദ്ഭുത പുഷ്പ എന്നാണ് Abhinav Guptan പറയുന്നത്. So, that is it, that magical feeling when all these emotions are blended together in the proper form, that is called that moment is called the extreme or the heights of dramatic enjoyment. That is the height of pleasure. That is a height that any writer or any performer aspires to be. That is when you are actually going to listen to a say Carnatic concert by T.M. Krishna. At the end of it, you are in a magical world. You ചുറ്റുമുള്ളതൊന്നും നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ പറ്റാത്തൊരു അവസ്ഥയിലോട്ട് വരുന്നു. Why? Because every emotion has been connected with the person who is performing. That is why when you read a novel and at the end of it, you start having you start having the real feelings for those characters, and that is when you can actually say that the Albudha Pushpa has bloomed. And theoreticians call it as an Alaukika experience. Alaukika means celestial experience. Now, this celestial has nothing to do with God or heaven or anything. It is an out of the world emotion. It is an out of the world experience that you feel. Now, everybody goes through this feeling when they are watching something that can actually evoke these emotions. That's one of the reasons why you like certain movies and you say it is extraordinary, whereas you say that this movie was not able to evoke any emotions. Sometimes you have characters crying all the time, like television serials and so on, but you don't feel any emotion at all. Why? Because that Adbhuta Pushpa has not bloomed. That magical feeling has not been created. So, unless this magical feeling is created, nothing will happen. So, that is why the entire essence of Indian literary tradition is based on Rasa, and that is why Bharata tells, if all these three are mixed together in a proper form, there is actually a mathematical calculation for this. It is very easy for you to understand. So, we have 8 Sthayi Bhavas, then Vibhavas 2 in number, and Anubhavas plus 33 Vebhijari Bhavas and 8 Satwika Bhavas. Altogether it is 49 in number. So, when this 49 is blended together in a proper form, what we get is the resulting product is Rasa. And once Rasa is created, there is no stopping for that performance, or there is no stopping for that art form. So, that is what every writer, every performer aspires to be. That stage where people say we are moved, we are completely transformed. This is where we take back to the first thing that I mentioned. What is the transformative power of art? The transformative power of art lies in this concept, that is, rasa has been evoked in the proper manner, and you are no more the same individual who actually went to watch a performance. The person who comes back from the theatre, the person who comes back from the Natya Graha is not the same person who has visited that, and that is why it is called Alaukika. And I hope the concept is clear to you. Now, this is only a scratch of what Indian aesthetics is all about. It is only a very, very insignificant portion of the entire corpus of Indian literary thought, and I am very happy to share my thoughts with you. Thank you for listening, and please read more on this topic. Thank you so much.